Oh my god, this is so hard to say. Crafting equipment in Rise of Kingdoms. Crafting equipment in Rise of Kingdoms is quite expensive, especially if it is legendary. So today we are going to discuss which pieces you have to avoid to get the absolute best value. However, a quick disclaimer, I'm not going to discuss, gathering or leadership equipment. We will go infantry, archer, and cavalry, starting with the weapons. And by the way, if you guys didn't know, if you dismantle any type of equipment, including epics, you will get the full material value back. This is exactly what you spend when you craft a golden age, and this is what you are going to get back. However, if you dismantle, let's say, a legendary, you only get half of the materials back. That is why it is so important to craft correct legendaries. To craft the Helm of the Conqueror, you will need 70 stones and 20 leathers, but when you dismantle it, you only get half of it back, so that's why I wanted to make this video. Now, wasn't it Rifle of the Hellish Wasteland? This one you can only get it from VIP, so there is no need to discuss that. So we have Shield of the Eternal Empire, Hammer of the Sun and Moon, Hydra's Blast, Dragon's Breath Bow, Sacred Dominion, and Lance of the Hellish Wasteland. Some of you guys are gonna hate me for this, but Lance of the Hellish Wasteland is, in my opinion, the only weapon I would say avoid if you can. Not at all costs, but if you can. The reason is, even though it is a pretty good legendary, 4 pieces set bonus is quite mediocre. Extra 3% counterattack damage. Unless you are using Atsa Takeda specifically, you're not going to benefit from this bonus, and you certainly won't be going for 6 pieces legendary cavalry set because you definitely 100% want to have at least an Ash of the Dawn. So maximum you can go is 4 pieces. However, since it's just counterattack damage 3%, I don't like it. What you need to do is, on your screen right now, I think this is the absolute best endgame cavalry set. I'm actually pretty close to it. Let me show you real quick. Boom, there we go. All I need is a Navarre's Control and the KVK Helm. I'm working towards them, so this is what you need for your cavalry. However, the reason why I said it is not an avoid at all cost is because the replacement, what you need to go for is a Sacred Dominion. And first, as you can see, it requires a ton of materials. And the second thing is, the blueprint is not easy to get. You need to hit certain goals during your KVK to be able to purchase this blueprint. So if you cannot, Lance of the Hellish Wasteland and this classic set helm is going to be good. 3% counterattack damage, as I said, not the best, but still, when you put that iconic boost, it's going to be better than your epics. The rest of the weapons, I would say, are great. If you have the materials, you are going to go for Hammer of the Sun and Moon, but if you don't, Shield of the Eternal Empire is pretty decent because 4 pieces set bonus for infantry is, in my opinion, better. 10% march speed. Infantry is the slowest troop type in the game, so march speed is going to help them a lot. The only 50-50 could be Hydra's Blast because, in my opinion, you definitely, for archers, you definitely want to have 6 pieces archer set because I think it is hands down the best set in the game. This is the only full legendary set that you should use. Now we are moving on to helms, and in here it's exactly the same. Just like the Lance of the Hellish Wasteland, if you are able to get these blueprints and farm enough materials, you definitely want to go for Pride of the Khan instead of Warhelm of the Hellish Wasteland. But if you cannot, it is still a really decent piece. And for your archer march, if you went with Hydra's Blast, obviously you want to have Ancestral Mask of Night. It is also a KVK helm. The rest of them are, in my opinion, pretty good. It all depends. If you can get the blueprint and materials, then you want to go for KVK pieces for infantry and cavalry. But as I said, archers, I think 6 pieces archer set is perfect. Okay, this is a weird one. Now, Dragon's Breastplate is amazing. Heavy Armor of the Hellish Wasteland also, this is what you need on your cavalry marches. And Hope Cloak is what you need for your infantry marches. However, the other 3, the Milky Way, Shadow Legion Retribution, and Blade of the Eternal Empire, I would say ignore these at all cost. Because these are extremely specific. Milky Way, I don't know, I wouldn't ever use Milky Way because this also gives you archer health. And it's a part of the set. You want to have at least 4 pieces for skill damage, and if you can, go for 6 pieces instead of KVK. This is just my advice. But these 2, they both give attack. Hope Cloak gives you defense for infantry, and this one, Heavy Armor, gives you health for cavalry. Maybe the only occasion that you want to have one of these on your marches is that if for some reason you are going for highest possible attack. But that is a very rare and specific scenario, and if you're an average player just like me, I wouldn't say try to optimize your equipment for very extreme scenarios. Just go for the best ones in overall. So Shadow Legion Retribution and Blade of the Eternal Empire, in my opinion, unfortunately, goes to avoid at all cost. But of course, if you're an extremely high spender and you want to have the best possible equipment for every single scenario, yeah, you definitely will need these, because sometimes you will need to have highest possible attack other than anything else. Yeah, then you will need these, but as I said, for average player, avoid these at all cost. Gloves. Now, Sacred Grips, avoid 100%. Eon's Choice, avoid 100%. Dragon's Breath is what you need. Warm Braces of the Eternal Empire, what you need on your infantry. Now these two is a little bit tricky, because a lot of people like Armband of the Hellish Wasteland because it's a part of the set and it gives you defense. However, think about it like this. Let's say you crafted a KVK weapon and KVK helm. This means there is no way for you to get 4 pieces set bonus because you went for KVK helm and KVK weapon. Since the Ash of the Dawn is much better than Tassets of the Hellish Wasteland, this means you can never reach 4 pieces because you have KVK weapon, KVK helm and Ash of the Dawn. So maximum you can have the set chest, set boots and set gloves. However, this is only 3 pieces. So if you cannot reach 4 pieces, what is the point of having a 3rd piece from the set? There is literally no point. You can only go for 2 pieces. So instead of a 3rd piece, Armband of the Hellish Wasteland, you should just go ahead and craft a Navarre's Control. Not because it gives you extra 0.5% stats. Yeah, it is good. Instead of 7.5%, you will have 8%. However, the key difference here is that you are changing the defense into health. In my opinion, health is the most desirable stat in Rise of Kingdoms. So the difference is going to be really, really good. But let's say you're not crafting KVK helm and KVK weapon, even in that scenario, you still want Navarre's Control. Because you craft a set weapon, that is your 1st piece, you craft a set helm, that is your 2nd piece, you craft the chest, you definitely want it, that is your 3rd piece, and finally, you are going to craft the boots of the Hellish Wasteland. Because the replacement for the boots is Mountain Crashers, and look at that. Instead of health from the set piece, you are going to replace it with Cavalry attack. In my opinion, you definitely want that unless you are going for a full attack build, and as I said at the start of the video, in my opinion that is not the right strategy for average players. And when you craft all of these, you will again have 4 pieces from the set, and if you craft Armband of the Hellish Wasteland on top of that, well, this time you will have only 5 pieces. So no 6 pieces, not 4 pieces, but 5 pieces. It is somewhere in between. This means there is literally no reason for you to craft an Armband of the Hellish Wasteland every single time. In my opinion, because of the reasons that I've just explained, you want to go for Navarre's Control. Now, legs. Ash of the Dawn is the best for Cavalry, Eternal Light is the best for Infantry, and Set Legs is absolutely the best for Archers. Tassets of the War God, Archer Attack, you want to avoid 1% extra stat, but it is not part of the set. Greaves of the Eternal Empire, Infantry Attack, Tassets of the Hellish Wasteland, Cavalry Attack, again, just like the previous attack pieces, I would say 100% ignore them if you want the best overall equipment in Rise of Kingdoms. For Infantry, you want Eternal Light instead of this one, and for Cavalry, you definitely want Ash of the Dawn instead of Tassets of the Hellish Wasteland. And Boots, as I've just explained on the glove section, Mountain Crashers, no. Boots of the Hellish Wasteland, yes for your Cavalry. Sturdy Boots of the Eternal Empire, yes. Shio's Return, no. Commander's Boots, Archer Attack, no, because set piece Dragon's Breath Boots gives you 7.5% instead of 8% attack. It gives you defense, and on top of that, it is a part of the set for you to get either 4 or 6 pieces archers. Now, these were the regular equipment, and here is a full list of, in my opinion, every single legendary that you need to avoid. Some are optional, I've already explained why, and some I would say avoid at all cost. But when it comes to accessories, every single accessory has a certain benefit for a certain march. So honestly, I cannot say avoid this accessory at all cost. However, here's what I'm going to say. Concealed Dagger. Some people doesn't know how this accessory works. Normal attacks have 30% chance to reduce the target's health by 5%. It stacks up 3 times with each stack lasting 3 seconds. If you are using up to 5 marches, you only want to have 1 Concealed Dagger. Not because of it is bad to have 2 Concealed Daggers. However, when you apply to the same target 2 Concealed Daggers, you are not increasing the health debuff you just applied. It will only increase the chances of that debuff getting applied, which will make the debuff stay longer on the target. So essentially what you are doing is you are increasing your chances just to apply the debuff. You are not increasing the actual effect of your debuff. Of course, it is good to have your debuff for a longer duration on the target, but if you're using a concealed dagger, this means you are using one less Ring of Doom or one less Horn of Fury. So this is more like an opportunity cost. Because of that second concealed dagger, you are running one super useful accessory less. I hope it was clear. But what you want to have if you're going for up to 6 or 7 marches, yes, you can now afford to have 2 concealed daggers. I think everyone should have. If you have 3+ marches in your mutable, you definitely want to have 1 concealed dagger to apply that debuff. But going for 2, I would say wasted most of the time. So definitely do not avoid concealed dagger. However, avoid having 2 if you're running low number of marches. I see you guys on the next Rise of Kingdoms video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.